औज़ुबिल्लाहि बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। डियर व्यूअर्स, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि हम अपने इस यूट्यूब चैनल के ऊपर जो है कुछ ऐसी शख्सियात या कुछ ऐसे कोचेस या जो आप अपनी गेम के साथ प्यार करते हैं उन लोगों के लेके आते हैं। तो आज हमारे जो साथ हैं एक इंटरनेशनल कोच हैं माशाल्लाह, जिन्होंने जो है बहुत सारी कंट्रीज़ के लिए जो है कोचिंग की है। एक प्लेयर भी बहुत अच्छे थे वो टेनिस के, ठीक है जी, जिनका नाम है मार्शल पैटिट। तो उनका जो है माशाल्लाह काफ़ी एक ब्रीफ सा इंट्रोडक्शन है, तो उन्हीं के मुंह से कुछ सुनते हैं उनके अल्फाज। हाय सर, हाउ आर यू?
Good, thank you. And you?
I am also fine. Sir, can you explain and tell your introduction with our audience?
Okay, with pleasure. Yes, so my name is Marcel Petit. I come from France. I was born in Paris.
Okay.
And the history about the sport is my family, especially my father, was Olympic level as boxer and coach. He was national coach. So I was in sport very early in the age, and we was also living in a national sports center in Paris. So when I was young, I practiced many different sports, especially two, tennis and rugby. That was my two passion. And I started to play tennis at the age of 8 years old. And so then I played tennis and rugby a lot at that time, and in parallel. And in rugby, I reached three selection in the national team under 15 years old. And in parallel of that, I still playing tennis. And at 15 years old, I decided to play tennis at one red post and to quit about rugby, you know. So I started to play a lot of matches, and in France, many tournaments. We are lucky, we have tournaments every weekend. In France, is one of the country of tennis, brief tennis, you know. We can say rugby is like New Zealand, you know, tag boxing is Thailand, but tennis we can say is France. So we are lucky to have a lot of clubs there. So all the clubs organize many tournaments. So I decided to play many tournaments. I reached a certain level, second division in France. And my best title when I was young was to win the national championship, the high school for my high school.
Very good, very good.
And then I decided to play many tournaments. And at that time we called satellites. And I went to abroad to play some pre-qualification. And because it was very difficult to get in qualification, and the level was very high. So I realized at that time that it would be very difficult to be a professional player. But at the age of 15 years old, 15, my coach introduced me to coaching as assistant coach. And I really fell in love with coaching, as my father was also coach. So I think I get in parallel on my studies, I decided to start to and playing less tournaments. And I'm in France, Monte Carlo Country Club, and the opportunity to move in Bangkok, in Thailand, as private coach at that time, and to teach at the British Club of Bangkok. So I took this opportunity in 2006 to move there, to taking the elite junior players. So I stayed there a couple of years, and have with the best results, one player who won the national championship and was top 5 in Europe, the 12, 14 years old. And he reached top 100 on the water. And after that, I moved to Vienna, where I took the position as a head coach of the junior development in Ho Chi Minh City for the federation. And one player won the rank 14 at that time. It was the first time that the Vietnam got these results at that time.
Yeah.
And to play junior top 100. So then after that, I decided to follow with this tour.
Okay.
So this with my colleague Tom Kinda-Wong from France.
Sir, are you there?
Play the head coach at academy. So I moved to Taiwan for 6 years as head coach of the academy, taking care of the lead player and Davis Cup and Fed Cup players in Asia. Many players, like top players from Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, all the countries in Southeast Asia. And we have a couple of players that did very well. One, he got top 100 on the world ATP. Now he's Kwan from Korea. He's the number one in Korea right now. And a couple of players like Jason Seng, who become number one on the world junior, and then won Roland Garros and Wimbledon in junior. So it was a good satisfaction for the academy to have him time to time sometimes, and so these kids reach this level. Then after 6 years in Taiwan, I decided to come back in Vietnam to again with Ho Chi Minh Tennis Federation director. And finally, after 1 year, I decided to be by my own, to be entrepreneurship and to open the company they call Next Gen Trading Company. So we are doing coaching, tennis coaching, advisor, consulting, and we organize the events. And we are selling some sport products and heat products. So we have also the technology product like IS3 is called that we wish to split in Asia first and then in Europe. That will be very interesting, I think, for the amateur player to have the same system like the professional on the court, you know. Actually, only the professional player have the line call, you know, on the court, not the amateur. So we try to bring this one for the amateur players. So actually, I'm in Thailand. I'm living in Pattaya right now. And I'm working, I told you, like privately, different club like the British Club of Bangkok and the Thailand City Country Club, and a few pro rank, and I work time to time with them. Actually, this is my short introduction.
Okay. So short, you describe it very beautifully. So my next question is that, as we know that there are too many games around the world, the people, the students, the children who like to play, what do you suggest that they should move towards the tennis? Is there anything interesting in this game for which they attract the pupils to play the tennis?
The first one, I think you absolutely need to learn about the technique, you know, because if you are able to have a good technique, it means you can control the ball, and if you control the ball, you get you enjoy, you know. If I can send you the ball, you send me back the ball, we can play together, you know. We need to be two to play well. So the first thing is to reach to get a good technique with control, and of course behind that you need to work on your footwork. You need to be able to reach the ball and to adjust your position to equal the ball. So the two things that we say is the technical and the footwork.
Okay. Oh, okay, sir. Can you describe the word love in tennis? What is meaning by love in tennis?
Love in tennis, love is equal to zero, you know, like love zero, you know, means zero. Love.
Yeah. Okay. So, sir, can you tell me how many types of tennis courts are there at international level or national level? How many types of courts are there to play tennis?
So yeah, so we have 4 different types. We have the hard court, we have the grass court, we have the clay court, and we have the artificial grass court or clay court. So actually, we have 4 Grand Slam, you know, the 4 biggest tournaments on the world, and they use the. Sorry, I got struggled with the camera. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So actually, there are 4 Grand Slam. Like Australian Open use the hard courts, and French Open use the clay courts. Wimbledon use the grass court, and US Open use the hard court too.
Okay. So, sir, the next question is related to the game. How long is a tennis match? The duration of a tennis match?
So average is around 90 minutes, okay, average. But in the history, you know, we have one match in Wimbledon. I think it was in 1969. I'm not sure. It was around 20 minutes, I think.
Okay.
And the longest one was around 11 hours and 5 minutes, I think, in Wimbledon too. I think in 2010 or 2011, something like that. But average 90 minutes. And for beginner and above, I think around 1 hour.
Okay. So the question is related to the game. If a student or a children wants to play the tennis, can you tell the pupil, the parents, how much does it cost to play tennis?
So this it depends where you are living. If you learn in Laos and you learn in USA, it's different prices, you know. So $5 you can have the coach in $5-10 in some country, in modern country between $50 to $100. After that, you have the program in the club, you know. So it's very difficult to answer this question, but I will say now is much more affordable than in the past. Before it was the tennis was really for the rich people, but I can say now more and more tennis courts, you know, are built, and more tennis center was built in many cities now to open the tennis to everyone. And also many brands now they are making the new equipment tennis with the lowest price. So I guess now the tennis is much more affordable than before, you know.
Yes, that's fine. Okay, sir. My next question is related to coaching. As you know, as we know that your profession is coaching, so I want to ask some questions relating to coaching. My first question related to coaching is, how would you coach a student with poor hand-eye coordination? If a student has poor eyes and hand coordination, how will you teach them?
This is a good question. In tennis, we have four important things. We have the first thing is technical, the second thing is tactical, the third thing is physical, and the fourth thing is mental. So we try to develop these four parts. Based on your question, to be more precise, the eyes and coordination are very important. Eyes is you have to keep your eyes on the ball. More you keep the eyes on the ball, more you have the chance to read the ball and to get the contact ball more in front of you. So for sure, first advice is really look at the ball. And number two, if you are able to have the good eyes, you're supposed to have better coordination. If you are able to ball earlier, many things will be organized. If you are not looking at the ball, you will be late on the ball. Your contact ball will be a little bit behind you, you know. So this one is very important. So we develop all this one. Okay, so the technical and the technique is very important. My perception of the technique is to give the very smooth technique to everyone. Everyone are different. Everyone play with different swing. We have different forehand, different backhand, different preparation on forehand, different preparation on backhand. And normally the professional coach is supposed to give the best technique to his student. So we have to try, and we are working together. My concept is I'm working with the student. I like to coach out in, you know, to listen my student a lot, and then from that to move forward. Many coaches I can see like they teach in and out. They know and they want to input right away, you know, but I try to take maximum information first from my student, and then we are working together, and then I try to adjust what they wish and their feeling.
Very good. Okay, sir, my next question is related to coaching. How would you deal with younger students who threw every time they lost a tennis match? If a student...
Yes, so...
Yeah,
yes.
You can tell.
Yeah, so losing is the process of development, you know. Yeah. I will start like that. I got many students who won a lot when they was young, and after that they didn't get good results, you know, because they never learn how to lose and how to handle with that. So I will say for the player who lost a lot, two things. First, don't keep willing to trust yourself. Okay, this one is the part of the development. Okay, and the second thing is you have to understand why you lost. What I can see is after the match, many times the emotion comes first by the coaches or by the parents, because for the coach, the negative result is not good for him, for his reputation, and the parents didn't accept that. Especially the parents who have a lot of money, because they invest a lot of money, so they want the result quickly. Tennis is the long-term development. You need to have the long vision to develop the players. So losing is the part of the development. So the most important, the coach needs to understand why the player lost, his player lost, and also the player need to understand why he lost. So sometimes I can feel that some players are losing, but they don't know why. So the most important, if you are the professional coach will guide you and we explain you what you need to adjust to win this match or to play better, you know. And don't forget that tennis, 50% depend of you and 50% depend of the players. So sometimes you can play well, but sometimes the player play better than you know. So you have to accept that too and move forward.
Okay. Very good answer. Okay, sir, my next question is also related to coaching. What should you take into account when creating training programs for students?
Okay. So it depends on the level. Okay. Let's talk about the beginner. Okay.
Okay.
In general, the beginner don't have the good coordination and technique. So the first program we start to give them the basic technical program. Then once they have the technical, the good technique, can start to move better, you know. And then when they start to move better and to have the good technique, we can add different spin and different speed, different trajectory. Okay. And then for sure, the best training after that for them will be to input the match, to play match against others, because hitting the ball during the rally and playing match is very different. So we will input this one step by step.
Okay.
About the elite players, it's completely different. It depends if you start from 8 years old to 18 years old. It's a long process to develop. But I will say that we train in function of the match. So when you have the elite players, you have a lot of observation during the match, and then based on what we observe during the official match, in single and in double, then we got enough informations to input the program to work on, and also we talk with the players. So the most important for the elite players is to determine which identity game they are. For example, Federer is different than Nadal, and Nadal is different than Djokovic, you know. So you have attacker and counterpuncher, polyvalent player. So once you know your identity game, which game you play, but we go for it. For example, I don't think that Federer work many basket with 40 balls a row, you know. He working, I think, with one basket and maybe 6 balls, 8 balls, you know, sometimes more if they want to work on intensity on the short interval. But mostly he's working in his game. But I guess that Nadal playing and training with more basket and more repetitions. So the coach needs absolutely to identify the identity gap on the player, and from that, move forward to his training.
Okay, sir, my last question is related to coaching. After that, I will ask some general questions. My last question is related to coaching. About you. What do you find most rewarding about being a tennis coach?
Everything. I will say tennis is a school of life, you know.
Yeah.
I was in France when I was young. I was dreaming to be a top player. I was dreaming to do many tournaments on the world. And tennis bring me as an international coach traveling on the world. So traveling, met people, compete against the best player on the world, especially in junior, my experiences. And for me, it was amazing. I will say tennis is my passion. So working with your passion is fantastic. Sometimes I felt I didn't work. I do it what I like to do. And this feeling is fantastic. If based on what I hear around me, you know, many people complaining about their job, about the time. For me, I always enjoy. After that, for sure, for some time, I have to be honest, not easy. sometimes tiring, or sometimes for many issues, you know, family issues, something like that. Not easy to let your family alone for months, but this is our job. And but for me, I'm so lucky to make my passion my work. You know, it's a fantastic feeling, and to see how this young player become like young teenager become man. My first thing before to make the player is to make the man. So all my coaching is to be sure that to ensure that when the player will be 18 to 20 years old, he will become man strong, and woman same. So we try to teach them like to try to be independent and strong by themselves. The good coach normally is supposed to do that, and to help them, to give them the key for that. So my pleasure is to see some player now and doing well by their own, or become doctor, and used to be a top junior player. I'm so happy, and but the most important, happy. When I saw them, I can feel that most of them, they are happy. That's, I think, the most important.
Yeah, very good answer. Sir, my next some questions relate general questions. Question number one: if as we know that every student or every player wants to represent his country, wants to play for his country. If a student or a player or a teenager wants to play for his country, tennis, uh, uh, will you suggest some diet plan to be fit and to represent his country? Any diet plan to be a good player, be a professionally physically fit?
Yes. So what I can say, I'm talking more for Asia, because now I'm here for over 17 years. Yeah. The big difference with mostly the Asia player and the American player and European player is the physical. Especially in Asia, you know, the weather is very hot. So it's very difficult for the player to practice under this heat. So I think the first thing to help to get the player more professional, I think each countries in Asia need to develop the tennis center with the indoor court. This one, I think, will be suitable to get the good connection to the player. Instead of that, of course, the player can practice and early morning or on evening time is not a problem. But if you want to develop the player correctly, I think the facilities are very, very important. The second thing is the physical level. Most of the players spend a lot of time to play tennis, but don't spend enough time on physical. Okay. And when they spend enough time, is still not enough for me. So what I got this result with some Asia players is because physically they were strong and they can compete at the younger age in junior against the top player in Europe. For example, some of my players beat Nikesios, Corna Boric. This top player will become like a top 10, top 15 on the world now, you know, because at that time they was very strong physically, you know. Okay. So the physical is very important. Physical, you know, okay. Physical level, very, very important. And physical in general match with mental, you know, are together.
Okay. Sir, will you suggest some diet plan for a player, or any diet plan which have to follow the players who wants to represent his country or want to achieve a highest level? Will you suggest some diet plan or proper diet? Yeah.
Okay. First, I think they're supposed to play like the local tournaments, and then when you start to win some local tournament, you have to go farther to the biggest tournament and to reach the national tournaments. Then when you have the national tournaments, I guess they have the national coach in Pakistan, your country, or some coaches who have the eyes and to select the players. And normally now every countries have the ITF tournament under 18. So in general, the player participate to these tournaments, and then we can see, you know, if some player are at the good level, you know, and then they can be detected by the federation. Instead of that, the ITF have some program and invited some tennis player for each under the recommendation on the your federation of each federation. So normally, if you are motivated and you are playing many tournaments, Normally, the ITF could have eyes on you, the International Tennis Federation, to propose you some tennis camp. And then if you are very, very good, maybe they can propose you to travel more, to compete more tournament, to evaluate you more and to observe you. If not, I think this is the role and the mission of the Tennis Federation to take care on that.
Okay. Okay, sir. My question is that is there a specific diet plan for the players which they have to
A
follow?
diet, you mean?
Diet.
A diet plan, you mean? Diet, but it depends, you know, because in India, Pakistan, we are doing the same thing like France and Spain, huh?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very difficult, you know. But for sure, fruits and vegetables are very important, you know, for tennis player. I can see that many tennis players don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. And what many doctors recommend, not me, but what many doctors recommend is like to eat more chicken and fish than red meat. You can eat red meat, but not too much. Okay. They said red meat bring too much poison, you know. It's not easy for the organism to eliminate this one. So I will say like more like a carbohydrate enough to get a full day training and more chicken and fish with vegetables and fruits, and drink for sure a lot of water, and sometimes some isotonic drink, especially in Asia because it's very hot. The player lost a lot of mineral salts, so I recommend some isotonic drink, but not too much either, and don't use it right away. I can see something that just starting the training, I think they can take this isotonic drink after 20-25 minutes. You know, it's too early to take the glucid, you know, when they start the training.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sir, my question is that next question. As we know that every student wants to play for his country. So everyone cannot play for his country. Is there any opportunities the people who love the game and they want to become a coach, officials, are there any institutes around the world which conduct the examination, the certificates of coaching or officials? Can you tell me about that? Coaching certificates or...
Yes, so if you
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, you are located in Pakistan, so you need to talk to your tennis states. If you don't have the tennis states, you need to talk to your tennis federation, I think. Or don't the tennis federation could propose each federation a different organization, you know. Yeah. But maybe your federation already organized some coaches course for the local coach. Instead of that, every year in different countries in Asia, the International Tennis Federation organize the tennis coach courses, you know. So maybe these people can contact directly the ITF Tennis Federation, and I'm sure the ITF Tennis Federation will give them the information about that. Then you have a few center for learning in Europe, for example. If you really want to be coach, you have the possibilities in Europe to learn as to become coach, but not too many center accept the foreigners, because most of the coaching courses in their own language, native language, you know, not in English, you know, except for sure in UK. Yeah. So I will say for the people in Asia to first tennis states, second tennis federation, then ITF, International Tennis Federation.
Okay, sir. After if a person becomes a coach, how many job opportunities for him or her? Are there job opportunities?
Okay, so it depends on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on your country, you know. I will say you can be assistant coach first to learn, then you become a coach club, you know, and then you be head coach, and then you can be a technical director, tennis director. So it depends where you are living, you know. I will see in Asia, you have also sparring partner coach. I know many former players become sparring partner. So playing against the player under the coach, and the sparring partner learn like that. So he's on the court to hit the ball with the players, and at the same time he's listening the coach and what the coach is demanding to his player. Then he will learn like that. So you can be an assistant coach, sparring partner. Then after that, you have different level, you know, coach club, and after that you can work for the tennis states, for the tennis federations. This one is depend of your knowledge. You have to pass the diploma. Every federation are different. In Europe, it's very tough. You really need to handle all the diploma to become a coach, to go to the high level. Some country you don't need diploma. Based on your background as tennis player is enough. So it's very open, very open. But for me, if you really love, you really need to love tennis first. If you want to be a good coach first,
Okay.
you need to love tennis first. You need really to dedicate your time as coaching to understand and to love your student. And after that, if also you are serious, you know, if you arrive on time, and I think everything will be fine for you. I saw so many coaches arrive late and or forgot the tennis lesson, something like that. For sure, they will struggle, you know. But if you really love the coaching, I think now in Asia you have more and more opportunities to get a job.
Yeah.
More and more tennis academy show up, private academy, and many players also are demanding the coach now, private coach. So I think this job is a interesting job, and I guess if you want to be coach, you could have a good future in Asia if you have good experiences.
Okay. Sir, as you know that there are 4 basic levels in cricket to become a coach. In cricket, there are 4 basic levels to become an international coach. How many levels of coaching are there in tennis?
For coaching,
There are 4 basic levels of coaching to become a cricket coach at international level. Cricket. How many levels of
yes,
coaching?
it depends on the
Yeah. How many levels
yes,
of
it
coaching?
depends on each federation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the federation. Sometimes it's 2 levels, sometimes it's 3 levels, sometimes it's 4 levels, you know. So for example, in France, we have 3 levels. We have 4 levels, sorry. We have assistant coach, we have coach club, we have professor of tennis, and we have maître professor.
Okay.
So master professor, and just a few people got master professor. Each country are different. Each country, some country that have 6 levels, some country that have 3 levels. It depends, you know. It depends how much you are developed in your country, you know. I will say like Canada is very well developed, so there are much more level of coaches. It depends of the countries. Each country are very different.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, what we want, the first level, we want like the coach is able to play with the students, to be able to give the basic technique, and to secure the tennis lesson. About security. The second level is like to go more deep by technical size, tactical size, you know, like for advanced player, and of course to be able to help about the tactical and mental size. And the next level is elite player, for sure, is like go to the right point to help quickly the player to develop. That's the 3-man level, you know.
Okay. Okay. Sir, at the last, what is your message for the parents and the students who love this game and want to play? What do you suggest?
First, to have the long vision, enjoy seriously. Don't put the result first. I will say like the kids first and player after. Means like not looking for the results. Be sure that your kids love tennis. Normally, when we love something, everyone we dedicate our time for that. But if you put too much pressure to your kids at the early age, we got unfortunately a big percentage of the player stopping tennis around 15 to 16 years old. So my first advice is try to put your son or your daughter to enjoy a lot. And once they enjoy a lot, develop a lot the physical, because tennis is sports. So it's movement. So if he love the tennis and he move well, he have a big chance to do something in tennis. And then try to help him to challenge himself. So at the younger age, to help him to challenge himself, let him bring his bag by himself, not the parents take his bag in hand, simple things like that. And don't get emotional for anything, you know. Try to find a way to make him understand what's happened, what's going on, and try to help him to love more tennis.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. At the end, do you want to say something about our YouTube channel?
So yeah, thank you very much first for to ask me for this interview. I hope one day I have a chance to go to Pakistan. Okay. One of my good friend Farouk was the physical coach for the Davis Cup in Pakistan a few years ago. He talked to me very well about the tennis there in your country. No, my wish is to see more players, you know, playing at a high level from Pakistan, you know. More we are the melting pot in tennis, more country, more, you know, it was good. But you remember you got one very famous player in your country? Do you remember his name? He won the Grand Slam in double.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Because I don't prepared about it, so we will discuss all the players, all the celebrities in our next session.
Yeah. Yes. Sam Keshri, yeah, was amazing. Yeah. You player, you know, and you got one player amazing, you know. He won the Grand Slam in double, you know, in the past, you know. So I hope in the future. But I will say that tennis is a sport of life. So whatever the kids reach a certain level, he will never lost his time to play tennis because he will learn so many things. And I really encourage the parents. And tennis also is individual sport and team sport because you can play in single, you can play in double. And also we have team match. For example, City, Paris play against Bordeaux, you know, in tennis. And so it's one of the sports you can play in individual and by team. So this one is fantastic. And tennis you can play at a younger age, you know, from very young to old age. Can play tennis with different level. And this one is fantastic.
Okay. So thanks for your precious time. Hopefully we will see you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you for today. Thank you.